Hello Tarot friends, this is Ultraviolet Morgan, and this is I believe this is the 5th part of the Crowley Thoth Tarot walkthrough. So we stopped our last one on the 9 of Swords, which is cruelty, and, okay, good. I've got my cover card, so I can't see until I'm ready to see the next card. And 8 is interference. That's an interesting one. I never thought of the 8 of Swords as interference. It does give you that feeling, a very discordant feeling from the card. And all these different types of swords, different types of weapons from different places in the world. 7 of Swords, futility. That's very interesting. You know that's different from the Rider-Waite-Smith. Feels very cool and icy, very frozen. Let it go, because it is futile. 6 of Swords, science. Oh. Well, that's interesting. And these swords, this gives me a really piratey feeling, which is not something I associate with science. But, yeah, the swords made me think of pirates. There's a rosy cross in the middle, there's a circle, there's a diamond, and then there's these sort of pinwheel designs. The art on these cards is just forever fascinating. Forever and ever super fascinating. Something new to see every time I look. Ooh. Defeat. 5 of Swords, defeat. And that it has the image made me recoil. It's a what's the word I want? This image definitely felt, I didn't really feel of defeat as when I saw it, but it felt unpleasant. Nothing like when you're doing a video where you're talking about cards and trying to describe things and the words just won't come to you, right? Okay, 4 of Swords is truce. It's interesting because I always have sort of thought of the 2 of Swords as more of a truce. And the 4, and again, look at, there's the rose, and there's the cross, but it's turned at an angle. The 4 of Swords we always think of as resting and healing, which I suppose that a truce is an opportunity for resting and healing. On what feels a little bit more like a global scale, although it could be personal as well. Interesting, I don't know. Just interesting. The 3 of Swords, okay. The 3 of Swords, sorrow. So this is the one normally, what we're very used to seeing is the heart with 3 swords digging into it. Here we have a sword here, a sword here, and a sword here. 2 curved swords and the middle sword meeting exactly at the center of this of this flower, and around it we have these very dark, somber colors. The Two of Swords. Again, we have this pattern. We've seen this pattern before. I'm wondering if it's meant to represent a sun wheel, because it reminds me of pinwheels, for sure. The Two of Swords, we have peace. They've crossed, but they've somehow made peace with one another. The color is, through the film, it looks kind of like a icky pea green, sort of, or through the camera. But when I look at it, it looks directly at it, it's actually very, much more bright and cheerful, which is weird because the same light that's shining on it is the same light that's, that I'm filming it with. But, yeah, so there's so much going on here. In my head, if I were depicting peace, there'd probably be less things happening. And then there's also this third sword and this fourth sword. Or maybe it's just these two are the smaller depictions of these two. I don't know. The Ace, which I just noticed. Ooh, wow. Beautiful, powerful Ace of Swords, thrusting up through the barrier, breaking through the crown. It's fantastic. I just noticed that the aces do have the number 1 on them, which I just find interesting without much more to say about it. This is very this feels very cubist in here, and also very dimensional. I just looked down at my phone, and this made me think of a hamburger, and then this made me think of a taco, and I'm pretty sure those aren't the right things to be thinking. But we're up in the sky, but we have this sort of parted clouds, and we can either see maybe the mountains below, or maybe it's the sun in the distance, or the stars. I don't really know if we're looking down at the earth or if we're looking out, or perhaps we've broken through this crown, and I don't know if this is lit up because of that or exactly what. It's very bold. To me, that is very bold and piercing. Piercing through this crown is probably the word that I wanted at the time. I knew I was having a hard time coming up with what word I wanted. Now we have the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is moving at this diagonal. And the Knight is holding up a large cup that has a crab inside of it. The wings remind me of stairs. Reminds me of a spiral staircase. This Knight of Cups to me is quite sort of dreamy and angelic, versus the others. I don't really get that kind of a feel at all, but I do from this one. Very sort of dreamy, angelic, romantic. I think of the Knight of Cups usually as a knight that is looking for the Holy Grail, and this cup is red, which could represent Holy Blood, Holy Grail. I feel like that could be a representative of the blood of Christ, although I don't know, the regular tarot, historically the tarot is very full of Christian symbolism, and I don't think we're devoid of it at all here. But then I don't know that it necessarily will have the same sorts of meaning. Queen of Cups. She's hard to find. She's in there. She's down there. Okay, so this is the Knight. Okay, I just remembered that the Knight is the King. For some reason I had forgotten that. And yet I get some serious page vibes off of this. But we'll see what happens when we get to the page. Here we have the Queen, and she's, for a while I couldn't even find her in this image, and then, okay, so her head is here, and her legs are here, and I feel like, I'm getting High Priestess vibes. I'm getting a real High Priestess type of connection. The colors are very similar. The lines are similar to me. Yeah. And also, again, there is something of a feeling here of sound, of waves and ripples and sounds, as I saw up in here with this. I see it again here, again with the yellow inside the blue. Oops. Prince of Cups. This prince's chariot is being pulled by an eagle, I believe. So this is very interesting. The chariot has wheels. They're over here. This image to me, and there's an eagle on the top of his hat. This image sort of feels, when I first see it, it feels sort of Buddhist to me, but I don't think, I'm pretty sure that it's not intended that way. I'm pretty sure it's a Greek, one of the Greek gods, or maybe it's none of the above. But I don't know. It has for some reason it gives me a Buddhist vibe, and we have the winds, sort of, or waves maybe. I feel like we're flying over the water. Actually, when I said that, it made me think of the beginning of the Bible, where I think it says, "The earth was without form, and the Spirit of the Lord moved over the face of the deep," or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but that's what it made me think of. And I do think that the Thoth Tarot has a lot to say about creation itself. Creation and manifestation of the material world from the spiritual. Princess of Cups. So this would be your Page of Cups. So this is very different. There is a shell and a turtle. And this design. And there's the fish that we normally see. And this, it's a princess, so it's a woman or a girl rather than a page with a fish in a cup. I'm gonna say this is very interesting. It definitely does have that very watery feel. This makes me feel like we're in the water, although this makes me feel like maybe we're not. Perhaps, I think this might be the surface of the water, so that's kind of how I'm imagining this, is that this is the surface, this is beneath the surface, and this is above the surface. This is an interesting card. It's definitely not my favorite Page of Cups card. Page of Cups is my significator card, and I have a lot of really ones that I really love. That one's kind of okay as far as that goes. Satiety, 10 of Cups. Satiety. My cup runneth over. This is perfect. This is so I know that with the Tree of Life, a lot of times there's two different ways to create it, and I feel like this has used the second way. Or is it? No, this is the first. Okay, so there's the Tree of Life and the emanations. And I always think of the Ace of Cups. It does feel like an ace in a way. Is grace, which is just something that's given from the divine freely with it's not a reward, it's not earned, it's just, it can't necessarily even be asked for. It can be asked for, but it's not even given because it's asked for. It's just given freely for the reasons that only the divine understands, basically. And this just really gives me that strong grace sort of sense. And there's a literal sort of tree depiction in the background. It's really, that's what I'm interested in, very interested in looking at deeper. Happiness. I wonder how, I think we're in the last set, or maybe there's one more, I don't know. This is really pretty. This is a really good, this is a good depiction of happiness, I would say. It makes me feel quite happy. Indolence. Oh, we went from happy to indolence. Okay, so this is the one. I think this is the one where generally now I can't remember if this is the one with the walking away. I don't think this is the walking away one. I think this is the one with many, many choices. I'm interested in these lines, these connections to these sort of brain-like. I mean, they're flowers, but they make me think of brains. Really intense. Okay, debauch. 7 of... Oh, maybe this is the one with the choices. Debauch. That's really interesting. Really, really interested in that. The green is so sort of toxic. Like, oh, yeah. Kind of a toxic feel. Like, ectoplasm, kind of, too. Ooh, pleasure. This one is really, delightful. I wonder, I feel like the more you look at these, the more you kind of get them, I suppose. If you just look at them online, look at a picture of them, and it's not really connected to anything, and you don't have the actual cards, and you haven't been looking at them, you just kind of look at them and go, huh? But then I feel the more that you look at them and connect with them, the more kind of alive they become, I suppose. Pleasure. And I love that there's seems to be water and waves in the background, because water and waves, water makes me very happy, so. Disappointment. Again, we have these connections. I don't know if this has to do with alchemy. It feels alchemical. Four of Cups, luxury. Another emanations that are overflowing. These feel like light. These cups seem to have a lot of light flowing into them, more so than water. But there is water involved. Abundance. This makes me think of grapes, but then it also makes me think of the Artemis statue with the sort of millions of breasts that look almost like grapes, I guess. So that's interesting, and either one goes well with the concept of abundance. And I feel like they're in the shower, but again, we have these sort of stems, and it's almost like a lamp, you could definitely make a lamp out of that. It would be a very interesting lamp to have. Okay, we are getting right down here to the end. Now, Two of Cups, love. And, wow, that's really pretty. That's just so pretty. And so, yes, this amazing fountain in the water with two cups, and the water is flowing out of these two lotus flowers and two fish. It's very nice. Makes me think of the second time I was proposed to by the same person at Niagara Falls. The first time was in the school lunchroom. It wasn't that romantic. Ace of Cups. Oh, this is so bold and splashy and lots of colors, and not what I would expect at all. A lot less serene, or a lot less blue even. So I'm gonna want to study that for sure, because it's very unexpected. So much unexpected elements in there. And then we have this card, which is the can't remember what it's called, but that one. And then we have the Ordo Templi Orientis card, which says the tarot is a pictorial representation of the forces of nature as conceived by the ancients according to a conventional symbolism. At first sight, one would suppose this arrangement to be arbitrary, but it is not. It is necessitated by the structure of the universe, and in particular of the solar system, as symbolized by the Holy Kabbalah. Aleister Crowley, Ordo Templi Orientis, International Headquarters, Austin, Texas. And that's true. I've been studying, and I'm sure that it would have looked a lot different if I hadn't been doing some studying, and I can see the order to it, and that really does help you to understand it much more and learn. So that has been the walkthrough, and we're at 23 minutes, so I'm going to just say goodbye before we lose our video or anything like that. Thanks for joining me for the Aleister Crowley Thoth Tarot Deck first look walkthrough, and as always, we'll see you next time. Be well. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notification of upcoming videos.